Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what they blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human
on the point of order.
Honorable
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
from the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
From that break, if you're just joining us, this is Atn Health Forum, where we make a compilation on all critical health issues designed to reach all segments of the society. Yes, we had her last week and her energy was just so beautiful, so we had to bring her today to talk for herself today. So today we're going to be looking at mental health. We know this is Mental Health Week, so we're going to be looking at mental health. Our whole show today is going to be centered around mental health because it is one of the most important parts of our lives, as humans. Our mental health, if it's affected, every other thing is, in chaos and in shambles. We can testify to that. So, all right, we'll be going right into the questions for today. So, Nurse Merit, how would you define mental health?
Okay, mental health is simply the state of mental well-being of a particular person as it engages with how the person copes with stress and takes care of his work balance, rest, and can be defined. You can also say it's how to balance the social, psychological, and independent life of a person. So mental health is basically the well-being of your state of mind, your state of well-being, how you are coping with different things that you are going through, especially work. Work is the most thing that disturbs people's mental health. So I think that's a very good way to define mental health and all that. Yeah.
Emphasis on work.
Yeah.
All right. So, why do you think it is important to prioritize our mental well-being?
Okay. Mental well-being is really important to prioritize it because it has to deal with the way we relate to other people, our relationship. If our mental health is not at its peak, we will not be able to relate with other people, we will not be able to relate with our colleagues in the work, our co-workers and all that. And then it's also important for us, for our mental health to be okay, because most of the things we do, our rest sleep patterns has to do with, it's very, very much encroached with our mental health. So it's really important to know and to have a very good mental health state for us to balance everything we do in life. That's why.
So if I'm not sleeping well,
Yes.
it will affect my mental
It
health. If I'm
will
not eating well,
If you're not eating
no
well,
wonder I'm grumpy
well, if you're
sometimes.
not resting well,
Yeah.
it affects your mental health.
I no wonder sometimes I just wake up angry and I'm like, today again. Yeah. So okay, that's a good note.
Yeah.
If I'm not sleeping well, wow.
If
So
you're not
that general tiredness that we feel when you wake up, it's associated to when you didn't have like a good night's sleep.
You know that your mental health is not really balanced and you're not really having the right rest and sleep for your mental health to be balanced.
That's why you're edgy and any little thing that someone
just because you didn't sleep well. So that happens.
Oh wow. Who would have thought? I thought that was just about being, maybe if I'm depressed, sad, anxiety.
That also counts. That's also part of the mental health. But sleeping well helps a long way.
Okay.
If a person has a retarded mental health, just by adequate sleep and rest, you can regain back the mental health that you were initially working with. But sleeping well and depression and other things, they are just different aspects of mental health, like how there are different types. So it's not that depression and other things is not also part of mental health, it's also part, but there are different segments and different types. So yeah.
Okay. So if prioritize their sleep habits, it can lead to one being depressed.
Yes, it can lead to, because you are tampering with the physiology of the brain, you are tampering with the physiology of your body. Not sleeping well, you have tampered with so many things. You have disturbed the homeostasis in the body, that's your physiological and psychological homeostasis. So yeah, not sleeping well can disturb and cause depression, anxiety and other things.
And this would apply to what we eat as well.
Yes, also. Having a balanced diet means you should have a healthy lifestyle. People that don't eat very well, let's say you don't eat in the morning, that's one of the most important meal of the day. You just go about your day feeling angry, sad and other things just because you didn't eat. Personally, if I don't eat in the morning, I just feel sad and my self-esteem will be vents, mood swings and other things. So eating well is also very important for your mental.
Wow. Yeah. I wouldn't have thought that. Okay, so can you briefly explain what is the role of a mental health professional in supporting individuals through their mental health challenges?
Okay, the role of a mental health individual is simply, firstly, you have to get what is wrong with the person, assess the person, and you should know what is the problem. You give the right assessment. Is it that you're not sleeping well? Is it that it's genetic? Is it that you're not eating appropriately? First of all, you assess the person and get the right problem and diagnosis for the state the person is in. Then after doing that, you set goals.
Yeah.
You set goals with the person that you should acquire and achieve these goals within a certain time. The person requires medications. You also give the medication. The person requires counseling and other things, excess secret serotonin, make your self-esteem to drop. So I think that's how it is. When you achieve these goals, your body knows that you have achieved the goals. So these hormones are secreted to make you feel good and feel better about yourself. unlike when serotonin on the other hand is being secreted. So basically, during in depression, serotonin is more secreted. So we try to give them rehabilitation and medications that to either stop the serotonin secretion or inhibit it from just acting in the body. That's one of the major treatment of depression. So when you achieve goals, when you feel good about yourselves, it just makes your mental health to be very up and about and doing. So that's, yes, that's it.
Okay, so we know that a lot of talking down can make you feel, for example, you're working in a toxic place and your boss tends to say things like you're incompetent and all of those things. But then you see some other people that work in that kind of environment as well, and it looks like they have this shield on their head. So it's like a bubble. Whatever you say just bounces right back and it doesn't sink. So how exactly do you think they build such mental toughness that prevents them from their brain from producing that serotonin? Yeah.
It's actually their stress coping mechanism.
Okay.
How do they cope with a particular stressor? How do they cope with a particular thing that makes them feel sad or makes them feel downcasted? If a boss shouts it at the meantime, like we nurses now, there's hierarchy. So people higher tend to shout at people lower in the hierarchy. So what do they just do? There will be a time in your life that you will get there. So just for you to console yourself, try to cope with the particular stressor. That's why those people that do not really feel it, they just some of them they overlook it, and some of them they'll be like, okay, this is my time to get this. This is my time to get this insult. This is my time to just have this. So I'll get better, and maybe when I become a boss, I'll become a better boss. Instead of shouting at my workers, you just encourage them. It's not just about shouting. So those type of people that just go out and cry and all that, their mental health has been retarded a little bit, or let's say it has been diminished a little bit, but they can actually find a coping mechanism. They can find some way to just block the insult and every negative energy coming from the workplace or the boss or anything. So those people have, like you said, a shield. They have built a shield that blocks that negative energy. They'll be like, okay, and reassure that yourself, okay, I'll get better, I'll be better, and I'll get to a level that is higher than what this toxic energy is giving me. So I think it's just for you to raise you, like their behavior also shapings your own behavior and your self-esteem. So when they are raised in a very healthy environment, it helps them very well. It helps their mental health, helps their psychological health, basically. Then if you are raised in a toxic environment, it's just for you to tell yourself, okay, I will leave this environment and make a better of what I'm doing, just become better at everything I'm doing. Some people build themselves like that to achieve better goals. So yeah, depends on where you are raised and how you were raised that shapes your mental health. That's one of the aspects that shapes your mental health.
Wow, that's pretty deep. Okay, so how can you approach the assessment and diagnosis of mental health conditions?
Okay, firstly, when I was posted to mental health clinic, we did these things. First of all, you assess the patient. Assessing the patient now, you ask him certain questions, you take certain tests and other things just to know the particular type of disorder that the person has. There are different types of mental health disorder. There's the psychological disorder, there's anxiety disorder, there's the post-traumatic stress disorder, there's even obsessive compulsive disorders. These disorders, they have their different signs and symptoms, and their different key and cardinal points that you know that this is what a particular person is coming down with. So the most common that happens, I think 1 in 8 people are depressed, like in a particular place, they are very depressed. So I think the epidemiology of depression talks irrationally and other things. Then when you see these signs and symptoms in a person, you know, okay, this person has a particular disease, a particular disorder, that's schizophrenia, and there's bipolar, that bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder now is depression and mania. As they said, bipolar, it has two poles. Depression is at one end, and mania, that's feeling very happy, is at the other end. So this mania now is when the way you know that the person has mania is if the person is very agitated, like the person is feeling like he's a god or is a goddess, like feeling all the full endowment in the whole world, like I'm the king of the world. That's how you know that particular one. That's
and
how you
look at you,
diagnose.
we'll be here. People that don't know anything about this will be here thinking that this person's self-esteem is just so high.
But no, it actually isn't. That's one of the cardinal signs of mania.
Yeah.
The person's actually feeling like he's the king of the world, he owns the universe.
I mean,
and
I
all
probably
that.
would have said, I love your confidence.
Yeah. But no, it's not. It's not the confidence. That's mania now. The person tends to endow himself with different things, jewelry, feeling shiny and all. So he wants to just be attractive and other things. Then if it's a woman that has these things, they tend to be attracted to the opposite sex. That's the male. They actually whenever they see the male, they feel like, oh, I'm happy and all these things. The person should notice you at all means. They just do things that the person should notice you at all means. And if it's a male, they're attracted to the female. So yeah, that's mainly how we diagnose mania. Then there are other ones. We talked about depression, talked about mania, talked about schizophrenia. Then post-traumatic stress disorder. How do we diagnose it? The person is always have nightmares. And since post-traumatic stress disorder is like the person has a trauma from an incident that happened in the past. So how do we know that this person has a disorder? Some people can deal with the incident, but some people are bent on just that incident. Like they keep remembering it, they keep having that it happened as a trauma to them. So they become very anxious, like they're very agitated. They have nightmares of that particular incident. Anytime you just talk about that particular incident, their blood pressure raising, not at peace with themselves. These are the different signs that you know that you can diagnose a person with a particular disorder.
But yeah, if the symptoms are there, but there are no nightmares.
Okay.
Probably every time they remember the situation or every time they see someone in relation to that situation or that reminds them of that particular thing, there's this rage, annoyance, anger. It's like they relive the moment over again, but there are no nightmares.
Nightmares are just basically dreams. You can daydream, you can dream at night. So them seeing a trigger, that's seeing a person or an object or anything that just reminds them of it, basically that's the trauma. The trauma comes back and they're angry, they're agitated, they're just furious, and they do not want to be around those things. They don't basically have to have nightmares. That particular trigger, once it's there, it can just make them to snap and make them to just have these signs, the agitation, and they're furious and they're just up and about, they just scattered basically. So they're not able to concentrate and do a particular thing once these triggers are there. They don't basically have to have nightmares.
Okay. All right. So what treatment modalities or therapeutic approaches would you say is most effective for mental issues? Yeah.
Okay. If personally, if you have a mental issue, your body's particular stressors that made the person to have a mental health disorder, and then if it comes to the worst part, you take medications. There are different medications: antidepressants, antipsychotic drugs, anti-anxiety drugs. They go to the hospitals and they prescribe this drug for a particular disorder. Like if the person has an anxiety disorder, you should take anti-anxiety drugs. If he has a depression disorder, you take antidepressants. And if he has something like psychosis or any psychological disorder, you take antipsychotic drugs to just help.
Well, I hope you're learning quite much because your mental health is everything. So, well, I know I'm learning very much, but right about now, we'll be going on a short break to give others a chance to join us on this amazing show. When we come back, we'll pick off where we left off, so stay tuned.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring honest pop news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought a very family.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring honest pop news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Atn Health Forum on Atlantic Television Network, and we are still talking on mental health because this is Mental Health Week, and your mental health is our priority. We have with us today a beautiful, beautiful guest in person of Nurse Merit Lawani. Once again, Nurse Merit, thank you for doing this with me today. All right, so we're going to be going right into the next questions that we have. How do you address the stigma surrounding mental health and promote awareness and understanding?
Okay, the stigma associated with mental health. That's really a really big situation to try to address. A person feels that, okay, once someone has come down with badness or a mental health disorder, cannot be incorporated to community projects or anything. Person feels that, oh, mental health, so he has a problem, he has madness, so he should be stigmatized, should not be he should be left alone. But this is the absolutely wrong way to treat anyone with a mental health disorder. That's why they go for treatment and all that, just to get better and get incorporated into the society once more. So how we treat them and how we address them. Once they've taken, you are sure they are taking medications, you try to build this social relationship with them. They should have a social gathering where they come and talk about their different mental health. There are some social gatherings that, okay, these people have a particular mental health disorder. They come together at least once a week to just talk about themselves and other things. That's actually building a good social relationship.
Like
with
AA
other
meetings.
people. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
They just build that healthy social relationship with different people. Try to tell them that, oh, you are feeling better, you are better, you have a mental health disorder. That doesn't mean you cannot join the community to do this. That doesn't mean you cannot be incorporated in every other task and obligations of a person in a society. So first of all, you incorporate them into social meetings and social activities. And then their families and loved ones should make them feel comfortable, make them feel like, oh, I'm not different from every other person. I'm not mad, I'm not this, I'm not that. Families and loved ones should just come together and make them feel very good about themselves, give them gifts, tell them that, oh, you're important, and not always throwing in their face that, oh, you're mad, oh, you have a mental health disorder, oh, this, oh, that. That's just a really wrong way to address them. Just find a really loving society, a loving environment for the person. That's when the family comes together and just help them, incorporate them into activities. Okay, you are going to church, come, let's go to church. You are going to the market, come, let's go to the market. Just incorporate them in activities that will make them feel happy and feel that they are no longer them but downcasted and like no more an outcast and stigmatized. That's just make them feel happy.
So how about in situations where you try to incorporate them into the society and then out there in the world, maybe they have a breakdown. Let's say someone is suffering from schizophrenia and they get all agitated and, oh, this person is after me, and, start, would I say, wanting to harm people. How do you come back from that? Or let's say the outburst happens at home. How did the family come back from that? Maybe one of them got injured or harmed in the process. How did they not feel like, oh, stay away, kind of, or, when maybe the person tries to now make a move or touch and say mom or something like that, and you're like,
okay.
Yes, withdrawing. So how do they move from that and still keep their heart open and ready to, you're part of the family, when obviously you just put a one on us?
Okay, first of all, before mental health patients are removed from the hospital, they are ensured that, okay, if they see a particular person, they are happy and they are comfortable. We do this sectional therapy that the family members actually come to the hospital and they greet each other and they actually have a talking section with themselves. Before mental health patients are removed from the hospital, it is ensured that they are able to be incorporated in the society. They are mentally capable, like they are mentally stable to be incorporated in the society. So it has like the reduced risk of those meltdown happening. But in the case where it happens and people that were around it are not able to recover from the particular trauma, we try to put that person in a counseling section. You try to tell this person, oh, sorry, it's not because your mommy hates you or something or all that. That's why she hurts you, that's why she harmed you. Just try to explain to the person as the best possible way. Just explain to the person and allow the person to have these counseling sessions a few weeks and just ensure that the person is been able to understand the particular health
situation at
of
hand
the person, so that if it happens again, the person knows what to do and how to feel. Just that's basically counseling the person that was injured or harmed and making them to be able to interact with the person that has this disorder. So
Okay, so now another thing is, I'd say personally, I'm not working with statistics at the moment, so you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'd say personally, we have more depressed males than we have females, and I'd say it's stemming from the fact that growing up, the male child, we also celebrated the boy child this week. So to all the boy children, we celebrate you and we love you. So I'd say the training given to the male child is a man should not be weak. A man should hold his head up high at all times. I mean, that should apply to both genders, right? A man should hold his head up high at all times. A man is the provider of everything for the home. A man is covering the shelter. Yes, we know all of that. But then there is no room for the man to break down, right? So don't we think that this training that we are inculcating into the male child in the bid to keep them strong at all times, because that's the figure that they're supposed to keep portraying, don't we think that this is the leading cause of the depression, the breakdown? Because now it looks like all men are loved because of what they can provide and put on the table, right? And that's a whole lot. So imagine a man that's not able to provide at the moment, a man that's, you know, struggling or trying to find his feet. Basically, let's not say struggling. A man that's trying to find his feet in his career or his finances or in his home. And he already starts to feel like, I'm such a failure, because the training he was given is he has to do all of this. Yes, and in as much as we know that, okay, that's true, but then we didn't give room for communication, that you can air how you're feeling if you're stressed out, or you can talk about it. So how do we, you know, let's not take it with tradition of giving these teachings, but how do you do it in a way that you're not depreciating their mental health in the process?
First of all, the male children, you're not under any pressure. Do not feel like you have to provide, you have to have a certain amount of money at a particular age. I have friends that do that they will plan, okay, I will have a certain amount of money at a particular age. And if they don't meet those goals, they feel sad, they go into depression. Just know that you're not under any pressure. Take your pace. Just be calm.
Take your pace. I like that.
Pace. Just be calm. Male are more subjected to depression because of this pressure that people put on them. Even if they are growing up in their homes, they'll be like, their mother will be like, don't you know you are a man? Why are you doing this? Don't you know you are a man? You're already putting the role of a man on a young boy has not grown up or anything. So these things now make them to feel that, okay, I have to do this, I have to do that, and just make them to be like, if I don't do this thing, I will not be a man, or I will not
I'm
be
less of a man.
Less. That's just very wrong. First of all, we have to groom them from small and from their childhood and teenage and during their adolescence. Just groom them in a way that they are not feeling pressured. My cousins, I think he's about 27 years, and that's when he got into nursing. I just felt like, okay, this person is not depressed or has not gone into depression because he's not pressured. His parents are still supportive and all that. It's not that they just come up one day and be like, okay, I'm not sponsoring your education again. Just go and look for how to get money. Go and look for this. Those are the type of things that make them fall into depression. Money is one of them. Feeling that they don't have money, or they
have a certain target to meet.
That problem is, I think, is the highest. They might have a certain amount of money in their hand or in their possession, but they have not gotten to that particular place that they want to get. Money is the most common cause of depression. Financial instability is the most common cause of depression in the recent times. So just want to tell you, my dear male child, my dear male, please don't be pressured. Don't put in pressure. Just take your pace and do everything that you want to do at the right time. Opportunities will come and you get to where you want to get to. Just be calm.
Just be prepared. Be prepared. Set your goals, set your target, but don't make them unrealistic.
Yes.
So you don't go into depression. That's basically all we're saying. We love you. And I think they should also teach the women how to be receptive, to listen to when a man is airing his feelings.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, because the few that do air their feelings, I don't think people actually do listen, because then it comes off weird, like why is a man being emotional? Because of the teaching that has been drilled into our skulls. You don't have to be a therapist to actually pay attention. The man beside you might actually be thinking of taking his life. So you can be the angel in disguise. So just pay attention anyway. So would you tell us, have you had any breakthrough or any successes in your stay in the mental health faction when you were posted there? Any successes with a mental health patient? How did it go? How did it feel for you?
Actually, we had a patient that had obsessive compulsive disorder. It's an anxiety disorder. So she's a student of, I think, one of these universities, I think RSC or so. She came into the mental health clinic. We assessed her, then we started the clinic, we started the treatment and everything. She just got better. Like, it was so surprising, and I was so happy. She's a medicine student, so there's sometimes when we come to the hospital, we'll just be like interacting about the human body and other things. We just made her feel like she was comfortable. Her problem was about a childhood trauma that made her to be very anxious, and it gave her obsessive compulsive disorder, that's OCD. So just making her feel loved, we the nurses made her feel very, like, we gave her this room, like this
Aura,
this
atmosphere.
aura, this nice aura. So I think that was basically what helped her, and now she's better. I think she was discharged 2 weeks after she was admitted. That's a really fast discovery. That's a really fast recovery.
That's really beautiful. For those who do not know, can you tell us on emphasis what OCD is?
Okay. OCD is an obsessive compulsive disorder. That's basically, it's an anxiety disorder that affects how a person arranges his life and everything. The person would want to, okay, do a particular thing at a particular way. I want to arrange this thing. If a patient with OCD is in a particular place, and just a little thing is not in the right position, the person goes down, like, arranging it, changing the position until it suits the person. And another sign is like they clean too much. Like, they clean very well. Like, if there's a spot in a particular place, the person's mental health, like, agitates, like, until that particular spot is clean. The particular, that OCD is very common. It's not so common as depression, but some people don't know that they have that particular disorder. I personally thought I had OCD. I just figured I was very careful with things, and it was not OCD. So those people are very careful with it. They want things to go in a particular order, in a particular way. They arrange food, they arrange cookies, they arrange their houses to have a particular order. I think I watched a movie that the boy had OCD. His bed sheet and his 90 was the same pattern. And if he doesn't sleep there, it looks as if all the world is coming to an end. He wants to fall down, other things. So that's basically OCD. And that's just the signs and symptoms.
Hence the obsessive and compulsive. You don't want to do it, but you just have to.
You just have to. You are feeling this urge to do it. Go on.
Wow. That's really... Well, for those of us who have wrongly claimed OCD, reject it.
Please.
Reject it, because it's not a funny thing. Nah, it's not a funny thing. I mean, I've been in spaces like that, and if you're not careful, you think this person is calling you a pig and saying you're not clean.
Yes.
Because that's just how they are. Don't take it personally. So I don't think that's something you'd want to be associated with. Anyway, so I think that's pretty much it. But we're getting one more personal question.
Okay.
How do you prioritize your own self-care that helps you better attend to other people? What are those routines, those things you do that keeps your own mental health up at bar, so you can as well show up for people the way you need to as a nurse?
Okay, as a nurse, we are subjected to so much stress. The understaffing, the negative energies from your colleagues, different things makes you to be very stressed and all that. How do I cope with this stress? First of all, perform healthy exercises. What I do, I listen to music. I love listening to music. Music is therapeutic. Just by listening to music, you can calm yourself from a very high level of anxiety to just the normal level. Music gets to your brain, you feel happy and you feel calm also. I listen to music. And you can read a book. Just take a leisure and a recreational book and read. That also calms the stress level in a person. The another thing you can do is to just accept the fact that things can go wrong. Accept the fact that, okay, if this patient does not get optimum care or not optimum care, optimum health back, like if a person is sick and doesn't get his optimum health back at a particular time, it's not your fault. It's not you that caused the person not to have this optimum health. The another thing to do, accept failure. It's not that when you don't achieve these goals and things, you just break down and go into depression. Just accept it that, okay, this thing I did is not going to work out and it has failed. Just accept it, then set other goals, set realistic goals that you can achieve and make you feel very happy. And another thing, build a healthy environment. Like some people in their workplace, some nurses, they don't like each other. So that's a very toxic environment. It raises the anxiety level, raises your cortisol level, so it makes you very stressed. So you can build a healthy environment. Try to talk to that person. So, okay, why don't you like me? So let's just resolve this issue. Even if we're not talking so much, let's just resolve this tension in the room whenever we come in and other things. Just have a very healthy environment. Then eat adequately. I personally prioritize my eating. I love eating. So eat healthy, eat adequately. At least, ideally, you should take 1 apple a day. No, many people don't meet that standard. They don't even think about it. But you should eat at least 1 fruit in a day and just try to be at your best. Then sleeping. For nurses, their sleep pattern is disturbed because they have different shifts. Today I'm on night shift, tomorrow I'm on afternoon, and other things. So it disturbs their sleep pattern. Sometimes some of them gives them insomnia. So when they're at home, they're not able to sleep because the previous day they were on night shift and they had to stay up. Just try as much as possible. If you have insomnia, the particular thing I do, I drink warm milk, have a warm bath, then sleep.
Yeah, that really helps. It eases the tension. I've tried it.
It's very nice. So that also helps to relieve the stress for nurses. Then, which other thing? Exercises. Just try and do exercise at your leisure time. Try and run from here to here. Just take a walk and other things. That's basically what we do. If there are more, I can't really remember. So.
All right, thank you very much. That's beautifully said. We've come to the end of our show for today, but we're just going to take a mental health fact, and it says people with severe mental health conditions die 10 to 20 years earlier than the general population. Now that you've heard this, I hope you take your mental health seriously and up the bar for your mental health, because it is going to affect your emotional health, your intellectual health, your spiritual health. It's going to affect every one of these. So take your mental health very seriously, keenly to be precise. That is all for our show today. Thank you, Nurse Merit, for doing this with me. I had a lovely time and I learned a lot. Well, if you missed this, if you're watching this out there and you missed this episode, you can do well to check out our social media pages on X Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok Atlantic TV Network 1, or you can watch us live on our website atlanticnetwork.tv. I am Valentina Lawrence and we will see you again on the next episode of Atn Health Forum. Until then, stay connected.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused